What's going on? Dandy Crew. Stan Drew here, and we are back for another day of Catan. Guys, it's a brand new season, and we got a brand new series coming to you guys. And look, if this is your first time here on the channel, you are in the right place if you want to learn Catan strategy, tips and tricks. You are learning from a national champion of the United States, top online player, and a guy that as of recent has been bald on my head and my face. I don't know if you noticed, I got no beard. It's a little bit of a different look, but hey, it will come back soon enough. Don't worry about it. But the way this is going to work, if you go to the description, there will be a link where you can submit games, and I will pull every single week a new game. So if you want your game submitted, post it there. I'll pull the game, I'll review it, post it on the channel. Everyone's happy. So find the ones where you're making all the mistakes, which for some of you is probably going to be a bunch of them, because I know I have a ton of mistakes too. The way I found this game, and not to put anyone on blast, but it's a new season. I went to the bottom of the leaderboard and I found this player here, Truman, United States, 4.8% win rate, which means there's probably some improvements, some optimizations, 900 elo. And then out of Florida, Truman, what up? Another Florida homie. I didn't know that. But okay, so I found a game on their profile. They are a legitimate bronze, which perfectly fine, right? Everyone's got to start somewhere. So boom, here's the game. We are going to review this. Let's have a good time. Be respectful. All right. I'm expecting to find a lot of interesting decisions, probably from everyone, especially if this is like a true 900 elo game. What's the situation on this board? We are, as Truman, we are in the third here. And it seems to be a pretty well-balanced game. Obviously, we have this ore clump here on the bottom left side of the board. So I'm kind of meaning like because it's accessible in one area of the board, maybe one, two, maybe three players at most are going to have access to it. We are seeing a lot of wheat, but also kind of clumped here in the top as well. So you can do a couple picks here that make a lot of sense to me. If you feel confident you're getting wheat, you can do something like the 8-5-10, which is just a nice balance. 6-9-10, which gives you 3 unique resources, the road building. You could also pivot a little bit with the 6-5-10. The idea of trying to get greedy, but this 9-10 to 8-10 is a really good pick with the sheep board. So I'd be careful there. I think that's getting a little too greedy. And then you also have the best brick here in the top right hand corner. So let's kind of go through it. Let's see how the board plays, and then we're going to obviously homie Truman 1433. We're going to see what we can do to get them to the next level. 6-5-10. I understand it, especially at the lower levels. That's the challenge at the lower level elos, is that you really don't know. Like, it's the Wild West of Catan. So many different picks, so many different placements. But 6-5-10, I can't fault it. Points, right's dangerous because of the 6-9-12, but they're going to point right. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. 9-5-10. Okay. All right, what do you do if you're Truman here? I think you point up. Big mistake. What do you do in third? Pause the video if you want to. I think this is an absolute no-brainer, easy pick, 8-5-3. The idea is that you're going to get the best sheep, which actually the sheep's quite low on this board. You're going to have the best ore, having the 5 and the 3. And then you have so many different outs for wheat, where you can go 6-9-12. You can go something like 8-10-3 to 8-4, 8-3-4 to 8-10. The idea is that this pick has options, and also it has a huge strategic advantage, which is cities and development cards. What does Truman do? 6-9-12. Okay. I mean, the weird thing about this situation, though, is that the picks that make the most sense with this are probably going to get taken, right? Which is 8-3-5 or the 8-4-3 or 8-3-10, however you want to slice it. So in a way, it's going to be kind of awkward coming back unless you're trying to play some kind of Woodport 6-4-3. All right, 9-4-11. This is getting interesting. This is getting fun. That's for sure. Let's keep going here. 6-3. Brother, 6-3. I guess. I mean, but okay, I guess. All right, Blue, Truman, my boy, Floridian homie. You got the easiest pick of your life. I am telling you, this is so easy. So easy. 8-3-5. Okay, Now my brain's asking, how do we lose this game? Um, I don't know. It seems so dominantly and so good, but who knows? Maybe the wood port might be, extremely powerful here. All right. 2810. I don't dislike it. Interesting. Yeah, these picks. everybody, everybody going crazy here. So points right. I can't fault it. I think or port's also a legitimate play. But okay, red takes the 8-4. Um, sure. Immediately gets the wheat port, but then I think in this situation you're just leaving the 8-3-10 open for green, which just seems massively powerful. Oh man, this is wild. All right. So apparently I'm not built for low level elo games, but sure, why not? Points down. Sure, why not? All right, so we got a game. I would absolutely, given how this panned out, take blue here. But now that I'm looking at it, the 6-4-2 potentially getting to the 3-11, black actually has not a bad game if they know how to play the port game well. All right, but let's keep going here. Really, when you're playing as blue here, you kind of have two main missions, which is to get a city and to get a port. So I'm going to be very interested to kind of see how that plays out. Do a C7, hits the 6. Honestly, when you're playing or wheat sheep and you have the 6 wood like this, you don't really care at all. Like block the 6 wood. As long as I have my or wheat sheep engine open, I'm thrilled. So this is fantastic for blue. All right, 7. Where do you block? I think one thing you want to do is you want to slow down the other win condition. There's nobody here that's going to beat you on depths. But if you can kind of make life a little bit harder for the road competitors, I could see the 8 brick being a fantastic block here where it kind of like slows down people from building roads and settles. And then it kind of gives your setup even more advantage. Look at this, man. There's something in the water here in Florida. Nicely done, Truman. All right, we get a wheat. Now, are they going to trade? No. Okay, so here's the first example, right? You have an action, which you could buy Dev. Or you could try to get another wheat. I know there's other wheat out there to try to build a city. You have to action. You have to get your hand moving. Passing on 6 cards is a huge risk, especially when you have a good high production setup. It's very likely they will be rolling with 8 or more cards. Let's see how it plays. All right, at 7 cards. 7. Okay, no worries. Blocks the 8. Ooh, blocks again. Perfect example. Buy a development card. You're blocked. You need the sheep production. Just passes. So good example right here, Truman, is you have a fantastic setup. Development cards are part of your engine. Don't be afraid to use them. Maybe they're trying to build a city, but at the same time, if that's the case, then why wouldn't they try to trade for the wheat? So seems like maybe a little bit lost in the sauce here. And now we're getting in that 7 territory again where any roll is going to put him over. Oh, well, blocked. Aggro Knight robs again. And he passes. We're seeing a theme. We're seeing a theme. This feels like it's going to be a long one. Everyone's just got the craziest of crazies. And here we go. Perfect example, right? Does an action. 7's out. I mean, when you've played this game enough, you just know what's going to happen. Ooh. And then on top of that, they decide to literally just throw out all the ore. The thing is, man, you got to focus on your objectives, right? When you're going for this kind of ore, wheat, sheep style game, the ore's so freaking precious. To throw it out and leave the wood, obviously they're trying to get like kind of like a road settle style hand. You have no brick. So either you're going to try to find trades for the brick, unlikely, or you buy development cards which help you, right? Your road builders, maybe your plenties. You're just not following the strategy of your setup. Okay, at least you're not getting soloed this time. 7's galore. Looks like we're getting a little bit more space here, which is great for blue. See, and you can tell like the way they're playing it, they're kind of putting wood and brick as their main focus. So they 4 for 1, get a brick, which they can't even use because they got rid of all their wood. So who knows? They might lose it within the sevens. All right, let's see if we 7 out again. No, all right. And actually, we're pretty close to a road settle. So it could be possible if he finds a brick trade. So now look what's happening. He's getting super aggressive. Yeah, no reason to do this. Zero reason to commit your hand. Obviously, they're going for the spot, but I think it's not worth it, right? Like you don't produce any brick, and now you're betting all your eggs on the 8-10 basket. It's so dangerous. I don't think Green understands that when you settle here, I guess you do. You know, you keep going if you want, but this doesn't save your settle. That's funny, you know. Crazy weird game though. All right, so if we see a 9 here or a wheat trade, it's possible, guys. He might throw a lot of cards here. He gets the trade off. He gets to settle 8-10. All right, brother. All right. You got what you wanted. Let's see if it pays off. You know, the plus side of this for blue is they do get access to the brick. Well, let's see. We're going to keep going here. Funny, and just to show you, no one's really buying devs, which is, you know, it's kind of strange. You see this a lot at lower level games. People, for whatever reason, just value wood and brick. It's kind of like it's the most fastest rewarding strategy of the game, right? Like it only costs 2 resources. But as you get better, you just learn that the way you use your wheat and your ore, your development card game is just so superior, so much stronger that for those who are just learning how to play Catan, if you can just really get a little bit of ore wheat sheet fundamentals and development card play under your belt, your win rate skyrockets. And this is a perfect example. Like I really think blue wins this game 80% of the time, but they've made it just so difficult by taking the path that they have. But okay, they're starting to accumulate their ore back after they toss it out. No biggie. Black getting some love with the wood port. Hey, we got our brick. All right, we're going backwards now. Fair enough. I would say when you're in blue situation, every road is precious, right? The fact that you had to drop a road here and then you're trying to go 2 roads back, I don't know. I think I'd rather double the 9 and try to city the 8-5-3 so that you have a lot of ore and wheat. But okay, they're going somewhere. Fair enough. And the 10s are rolling. So we do see a city go down by green. Green actually doesn't have too bad of a game, but they need time, and it feels like red's just in a really good spot. And something else to note here, they're not trading. We did see kind of like the desperation trade, but this is very common with lower level players is they kind of just they trade when they absolutely need something, but they're not thinking about their position strategically. They're not thinking about the future of their position. This is something you'll see myself do or other top players where it's like we're always trading. We're always thinking about what's our objectives and what deals can we make at every turn, every roll to get us there. So, right, 8 cards. You could get a sheep for a dev. You can, get an ore for a city. You can get a wood to drop a road. Passes. Doesn't action. Doesn't try. And it's going to cost him. I can already tell you the 7 is going to smack him here. All right. We got the city, which is good. Oh, all right. If you're blue, you got to survive. You got to survive here. Big hand by red. Reds, I feel like, even though they've kind of had the weirdest situation, it seems like they've been doing quite well. I mean, this game has just been a strategical nightmare across the board, but he does get a settle down, which is strange. He's going for the 3-1. Sure, I guess. Sure. I think better is to double the 5, but why not? We're going to... when you have these situations where you give up production for a port, you got to ask yourself, what am I porting here? So if you actually look at Red's setup, he's got a ton of wheat. He's got the wheat port, check. He's got brick on the 8, wood on the 9. Is he really going to be porting that much wood and brick? Probably not. because his ratios are so good that chances are when he has the wood, he has the brick. So he can just use them. So it doesn't really make sense, in my opinion, to get the 3-1 port because you're probably not porting your 9, you're probably not porting your 8. Maybe in the future, if you drop a city on the 5, 9, 10 or something, the 9 becomes slightly portable. But I'd rather just juice my good rolls and build from there. All right, don't roll the 7. All right, we survive. Perfect situation, right? We have a ton of wheat in hand. We're going to city. We can drop a road. Something tells me, though, just looking at this player, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to like get the road settle right now that they see the ore port's threatened. Drops the road. Drops the... Bruh. This is okay. Okay. Even on the basis that you're going for the ore port, it would make more sense to up your ore. But you already have a hand. Here's the thing. Like, think about your rolls, right? You already have a handful of wheat. You would love to have more ore. You would love to have more sheep. But again, because they don't know the fundamentals of their strategy, which is development cards, they're kind of playing it a little loosey-goosey. But okay, 6, 9, 12. Black is kind of going on this mission to get more wood for the wood port. Okay, and we do see the 6 roll. Feels like we're definitely going to get plowed here, which we do, right? So those 2 roads that we spent, which are very expensive for us, wasted, completely wasted. But we do get the sheep now, so we can go road settle somewhere. It'd be so funny to me if they decide to try to get the 611, like drops 2 roads. It'd be so funny. Okay. All right. I can't fault this now, right? We have a viable port. And it was inexpensive for us, right? Road settle, perfect. I love it. All right. We're still doing okay. I mean, I still feel like somehow this game ends. I'm not really sure. But feels like somebody's going to be sneaking road. Oh. Wait. Look at what green did here. Settled, road. So they had the road settle. Bro, this is diabolical work. Diabolical. Okay, I don't get it. All right, the 12 going absolutely haywire here. Nice hand. So in this situation, he's going for the 11, 12. Why don't you just go on the 9? Road settle on the 9, dude. Rolls to 12. Why don't you just go? Okay. You can just see, like, it's very interesting, just the amount of, like, inefficiencies, kind of wasted roads all over the place, man. All over the place. That's okay. Big 7 here. Green just taking the biggest hit of their life, but probably has the settle on the 611. Boom. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know who's winning this. Red bind devs. All right, perfect situation. Buy development card here, blue. Passes. You're killing me. You have the best development card setup, and you just refuse to play it. All right. Big hand incoming here. Green just on 8 points. Not a care in the world. Also, if green finds a way to take road, they just win the game. So that's fun. That's interesting. All right. Lots of cards here. Red's playing a knight. Steals an ore. Massive steal. Dropping roads. Very interesting. 7's out again. Okay. It's the story as old as time. And very strange, by the way. Like, blue decides to keep 2 brick, even though they only have 1 settle available. They get rid of their ore. They get another brick. Look, you could port for a dev here. Well, granted, you should have held the ore instead of getting out. But, like, do something. Action, blue. Passes. You're killing me. All right. Let's keep going. It feels like it's just GG here, right? Green's probably on 9. Huge production. Game over. All right. Let's talk about this. What did blue do well? I think blue had good placements. I think when it's all said and done, the 8-5-3, 6-9-12 is a fantastic setup. But that was really about it. I don't mean that. I don't mean to be an ass, but it's just like these are good learning lessons for newer players to realize like there are there are paths to strategy that you got to be aware of. Yes, you can drop roads, you can build settles, but that's not the only way to play Catan. And this is, and I'm sure like if we went through Blue's other games, you would find a ton of insights similar to this, where it's just like buy development cards, don't 7 out, manage your hand, right? Like know what your advantage is here. And I just don't think newer players see the value of ore and wheat the same way that good to amazing players do. And that's okay, right? That gives me the ability to help people into this game. If you want to have your games reviewed, if you want to have me go through this, find some of your quirks, some of your mistakes, some of your tendencies, fill out the form below. I'm going to have a little spot where you can submit your games. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed that. Don't be making mistakes. Use your setup wisely. Use your mind wisely, and stay great. Peace.